Earth is facing its collective shadow. There you go, folks. Everyone's been talking about the shadow, how we have to deal with the shadow, and those there are who avoid their shadow through some way or another, and let me suggest addictions work well for avoiding your shadow, but they just entrench you more deeply into it in the end. You're just digging yourself in deeper by using them. I wasn't into doing any work today. I really think I deserve a long break, although I still have work to do, but then this idea struck me when I was on Gab. By the way, my posts are only getting 3 likes on Gab and there are only a couple of regular followers, even though it says I have 50 followers. If I have 50 followers, I expect 45 likes on each post, even just to say that you saw the post. I've been posting every day, so if you are not getting it, then they're censoring me too. Either I get more followers or I give up on social media completely. You guys who wanted to stay in touch with me, are you still on Facebook and you've only opened a Gab account just so you could keep in touch, but you're not using it? You really don't think that much of my posts if you are. Why do you need to stay in touch with me if you are not listening to what I have to say? I don't understand this. Like my posts or I stop posting altogether. I don't need more work to do. Seriously, I have enough and was just volunteered by A. Michael for another project. They clam-trialed us the other day and I still have some brain fog as a result, and I don't really feel like doing anything. I just do this work through sheer will, that's all. I would like to think, though, that somebody's listening, so yes, please like the video just to say you've seen it, please. Just so I know I'm not working for nothing. I've created a backup video channel on Rumble because I've got 1 strike now on YouTube. I'd prefer to stay on YouTube, of course, because that's where you're used to seeing me. But you have to realize that they may completely cut me off of here at some point, just like FB did, and it's you that has to be more flexible. If you are not willing to be flexible and start changing your old social media habits, then I'm sorry, but I have to move to where I will not be censored. I said before that I know how to deal with this war we're in because I've dealt with my own personal control war. I've dealt with my shadow, which by the way wasn't even mine because it wasn't what I was born with, it was my parents' issues I had picked up and began to transmute. So for you guys who think you're bad, you think so because you picked up on your parents' shadows because they admonished you every time you did something that reminded them of the repressed parts of themselves. So let's say you said, "Buck," as a swear word to your mother and she gave you shit. Well, that's because mom doesn't swear or allow herself to express anger that way, so you now think you're bad. That's because your mother would think she was bad if she did it. She just taught you to think like she does. So you have to unlearn that. Did you get? Ladies don't swear. Ladies don't get angry. Ladies don't act like that. All rules, and most of the rules that we've learned disempowered us. Now, Ivo's going to explain to us how we are living in our shadow now. Ivo, in fact, my love, you just said it. You have been taught an oppressive set of rules which have allowed other non-oppressed people to predominate your world. Your people are very oppressed right now. Some now are fighting back. Others are simply sitting back watching to see what happens in the world. I am not suggesting that you fight, but I am suggesting that you are playing a role in Earth's collective shadow, which you see being revealed right now. You have all taken part in allowing this to come to fruition. All of you. Yes, I hear some of you will declare your innocence, but you are not innocent, you are complicit. As is everyone else on the planet. You accepted rules. You accepted conditions that you did not agree to. You allowed yourselves to be silenced. You allowed yourselves to be separated. You allowed yourselves to believe lies. You allowed yourselves to let the government run your lives without ever questioning what it was doing. You allowed laws to be made without ever objecting at a meaningful level. You have played your life like a powerless pawn, and now you are paying the price for that. You have taken many opportunities to stifle your anger, as Sharon just explained, through addiction or using other means. You drank, you overate, you took drugs so that you could continue to adjust to what your heart knows is an absolutely untenable state for a human to live in. You adjusted to inhumanity. And those who now are complicit with many further restrictions are still doing the same. Some of you, thankfully, have woken up and said this is enough, you will go no further like this. Me, I hear many Americans are pulling roots and moving to Republican-run states, and who can blame them? There's an exodus into Florida right now, which is the freest state. Michael Jaco said we Canadians have to do the same thing. Well, got news for you, Big Mike, there are no provinces that are not aligned with the negative agenda. There is no free place in Canada. Some are a bit better than others, but we don't have a Florida or a Ron DeSantis. We don't have that. Hopefully we will, or we're sunk. Ivo, you have been trained all your lives to accept the unacceptable. You worked 40 hours a week with a smile pasted on your face while you secretly hoped your boss would die and rot in hell. How many did that? You kept that smile pasted on your face until finally you decided to get another job. Sharon has changed jobs more times than she has anything else in her life. Me, yes, apartments are only at 13. Jobs, I worked everywhere. Ivo, this is because she objected to the entire idea of working for money because she knew it was wrong in her heart. She did not understand why she knew it was wrong, but she did. She would come to understand that later on, after I told her who she really is. She knew all her life that her parents' parenting skills were incorrect. When the man who was eyeing over 16-year-old Sharon approached her father at the bowling alley to see if he could date Sharon, Sharon knew this was wrong. She knew if he wanted to date her, he should ask her, not her father. Me, yes, when my father was enjoying this power trip over me, because that's what it was, I told him if he liked the guy so much that he should go out with him because I thought he was a creep. Never mind old-fashioned, or maybe he was just very perceptive and understood my father was an alpha, a negative alpha, because there are good ones. Ivo, yes, you caused many a problem for your parents who you refused to bow down to, especially as a teenager. Me, yes, so my father responded by trying to kill me a couple times. I lived. Haha. Ivo, we watched, my dear, and we tried to help you as much as we could. Me, I know. And I know you don't like my Earth family very much. Ivo, I understand them, but I prefer you have nothing to do with them. For the simple fact that you deserve much better than them, much better. Me, you guys who have been abused especially, need to realize this as well. They didn't deserve you. You came to this planet to liberate it and they abused you, yes, because they couldn't do any better, but you don't need to keep taking that shit. Walk away. They're not going to change, not for you. You have to understand that they won't change for you because of the way they've learned to see you, speaking of oppressive rules and belief systems. Ivo, yes, and that is where we are today. You have all allowed yourselves to be hoodwinked, lied to, you believed complete and utter nonsense, and all of it, and I repeat all of it, was for two reasons: to see how many they could get to believe them, and either to eliminate those who did not or find ways to censor their messages. Censorship has been carried out for a long time. This is nothing new. They have used discreditation campaigns against those who knew the truth all the time. They have invited them onto their talk shows so they could put them down and make them look like heretics in the eyes of the public. Now they believe they have the entirety of Earth where they want them. They have put forward their last control agenda. And you see, this agenda is insane. Yet some go for it, they believe it, and that is because these are the ones their grooming tactics have worked upon. These people are lost. They have given up all of their rights and do not even complain. These are not the people who will go forward to become Homo Universalis or Homo Divinicus, whatever name you so choose. They are lost. The human is a fighter. The human knows his rights. They know how to stand up for their rights so that such a time as is being experienced on Earth now never occurs. They know how to guard their rights and how to defend their rights should they come into question by any other being of the universe. We take nothing lying down such as is being seen now upon Earth. It is unfortunate that the grooming campaigns have worked, but they have. Yes, and as for Canada, you will all have the fight of your lives because, as you say, my love, there is no place of safety here. Quebec seems to be the worst off province as well as Alberta. But there are no safe places because your so-called leaders were groomed as well. They went through the same disempowerment process as everyone else, and your leaders have no clue as to how to stand up for themselves either. Those who are more fortunate, such as Ron DeSantis, do have a clue. It takes being in touch with your intuition, my love, because that is where the human derives its true power from. The intellect is not your power source, the right side of your brain is where you access it. Intuition is the only way through this. But yes, you are collectively going through your shadow. You are all complicit in creating this current scenario upon Earth. Those in the know have already been murdered to silence them. And now what you have left is a do-or-die scenario for the rest of the people. You must oppose them in groups, in large numbers, or succumb to their control over you. The timelines are beginning to split out, and eventually you will not see so much of the shadow as you are now. But this is because humanity has worked through it as a collective. You will begin to see the true reality of life. But this is eventually. Keep your minds focused on what you want for humanity, all of humanity, even the people you detest, and keep your eyes peeled for trouble. At its earliest sign, have a backup plan. Group up and continue to work with others for mutual support. They are creating internment camps which they will begin using to catch those opposed to their control agenda. They will be allowed to die in these camps because it is your death that they seek. Your true God is a God of life. Well, they believe themselves to be the gods of death. If you understand how they think, you will be able to see what their plans are. Satan is the god of hell and they desire him to rule planet Earth. Anyone opposed to this now will be dealt with. Me, thank you, Ivo. Ivo, you are most welcome, my love. I am glad you decided to do some work today. Me, I still need days off. I work too much and I'm resentful of it at times. Ivo, and so you realize this and must make changes. Me, yes. Thanks, Ivo. People were going on about their shadows, not realizing that up until the point in their lives they met their higher selves, they were living their shadows. Your whole life was your shadow, until your higher self intervened. Why do you think your higher self was trying to help you? Because you were in your shadow. Some people think that your shadow is repressed parts of yourself and they're right. But the repressed part of yourself is also what you call normal, that's also a made-up identity. You're not who you think you are. The DS has had you living in your shadow all along because it repressed your true identity from the get-go. You were born as a shadow of your true self, and you've worked at developing that false identity all your life. Look at me. The day I learned of my true reality I was blown away, gobsmacked. I had no idea. I didn't learn of this reality until I was in my 50s. Until you align with your galactic self, you're in a shadow self. By the way, GooTube seemed to insist that I send an appeal into my strike, so I typed a nice note saying I understand what they're doing and I'm fine with it. What I got back was a computerized message that very clearly made it clear that nobody read my appeal at all. So there's no point appealing because they don't give a shit. It's all computer run.